façon, si nous sommes nombreux à ne pas vouloir livrer la marchandise sans avoir un certain niveau de prix, il y a des chances que les partenaires de l'autre côté fléchissent. Enfin, effectivement, il faut que notre secteur bancaire, il faut que nos États prennent des engagements fermes, financiers, pour pouvoir développer, exploiter le secteur nous-mêmes, sans avoir à quémander de l'argent vers les gens qui, justement, n'ont aucun intérêt à ce qu'on réalise des projets dans ce sens-là. Merci beaucoup. Nous allons maintenant donner la parole à quelques partenaires et sponsors. Je demanderai à Madame Christiane Hazillo, de la délégation de l'Union européenne en Zambie, au COMESA, de se présenter au podium. De Monsieur Obad Badr Eldin, Manager Client Relations East Africa d'Afriexim, aussi de se rendre vers le podium. Et je demanderai aussi à Emmanuel Boutera Mouessigie, de la Commission africaine de l'aviation civile, de vouloir aussi prendre place au podium. Encore une fois, je vous demanderai d'être très bref dans vos allocutions. Merci. Je vois que nous n'avons pas de facilitateur. Bon, écoutez, nous soyons gentlemen, comme on dit en anglais. Nous allons commencer par Madame Christiane Hazillo, qui va partager avec nous quelques idées en quelques minutes. À vous la parole, Madame.
Merci beaucoup. Good evening. Honorable Minister of Commerce, Trade, Transport and Industry and Tourism for Burundi, Honorable Ambassador to Burundi in Zambia, Excellencies, Assistant Secretary General to COMESA, dear partners, all protocol observed, it is my pleasure today, on behalf of Ambassador Carolina Stasiak, to the European Union delegation to Zambia and COMESA, to be here today. I would like to give an overview of our partnership between the EU and COMESA through this presentation. We have been working together for 30 years, grounded in shared values of respect, cooperation, and sustainable development. This forum presents the opportunity to review our joint programs, reflect on our successes, and explore future areas of cooperation. Before dwelling into the joint programs, allow me to take you through the new political cycle in Europe. With the 2024 European Parliament elections, a new political phase begins with Madame Ursula von der Leyen, who has been re-elected as President of the Commission, and the next European Commission has set its sights on renewed cooperation with Africa. This renewed momentum aligns with the upcoming EU-Africa Summit in 2025. The EU remains committed to the flagship Green Deal that was mentioned previously, I believe, balancing economic growth with emission reduction. And the key initiatives include a clean industrial deal, targeting a 90% emission reduction by 2040, the Decarbonization Act, investing in cleaner technologies for heavy industries, energy infrastructure, prioritizing renewed energy, hydrogen, and other clean systems. I think all these have been touched on by the previous panelists. The EU's approach focuses on strengthening economic security, promoting technology competitiveness and resilient supply chains, global partnerships that tackle supply chain disruptions, and also our flagship global gateway that was mentioned by His Excellency, the Minister of DRC, with Africa that drives investments in infrastructure and renewable energy across the continent. The COMESA EU partnership is built on enhanced trade and regional integration. Since the Samoa Agreement in 2023 that highlights the importance of cooperation with regional economic communities. That's on one hand, and we have the recently ratified the Tripartite Trade Agreement, which supports the African Continental Free Trade Area, driving broader regional integration through platforms, working groups, and strategic corridors. We aim to achieve sustainable regional development. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the EU-COMESA partnership considers all relevant factors in its regional cooperation programs in collaboration with the different COMESA agencies and institutions that we had the pleasure to see here today. And through the 11th European Development Fund, we have several programs that are underway and totaling approximately 85 million euros that aim to promote regional integration, enhance trade, and drive economic growth in the COMESA region and beyond. The Trade Facilitation Program, on one hand, regional trade by reducing import and export costs and delays at key border posts. And together we are upgrading these locations to one-stop border posts, including Chirundu between Zambia and Zimbabwe, Malawi Mchinji between Zambia and Malawi, Nakonde Tuduma between Zambia and Tanzania, Moyale between This initiative is in collaboration with the United Trade and Development Organization and the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO. The Small-Scale Cross-Border Trade Initiative, I think was touched on earlier on when we were talking about the Simplified Trade Regime, is a program that supports proper trade facilitation by easing border crossing for small-scale cross-border trade and increasing trade flows at key border posts. We talked about capacitating the COMESA. We have a program, the Institutional Capacity Building Program, that also seeks to strengthen the capacity of the COMESA Secretariat and its member states, including the private sector, to advance regional integration. And this aims to ensure that the COMESA Secretariat can efficiently implement regional cooperation programs. At the core of today's theme, we have
Would you please try to conclude as soon as possible?
Yes, thank you.
2 minutes.
I'll try to wrap up in 2 minutes. Much going on within the EU. So I will just talk about the future programs which are very relevant to today's theme under the Neighborhood Development and International Cooperation Instrument. We're working on several key areas, and I will touch upon one very important to us, that is the switch to circular economy in East and Southern Africa. It's a program that was recently for which we signed a financing agreement between the EU and COMESA. The program will support countries transitioning from a linear to circular economy. By promoting circular business model, this program will look at skills development, access to finance, which are areas that were touched on. So this program will look at matching grant facilities to support startups, SMEs, but also promote joint ventures between companies on the continent with the EU. To conclude,
thank you.
Yes.
Madame Christiane Azio, I mean, we truly understand that EU has been very supportive of COMESA, and I'm not very surprised because EAC has also been very much well supported by the European Union. So we thank you very much for this brief presentation of the programs you have within COMESA. So let's move on to Mr. Omar Badreddin, Client Relation East Africa, Afrexim Bank.
Yes, thank you very much. Miriwe, good. Me too. I enjoyed the lunch very much. Thank you. Dear ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed, I will just take you quickly through what is the bank doing, who is Afrexim Bank. I'll try to be short so that I don't get policed by the MC. So very quickly, the bank is a multilateral Pan-African financial institution that was established by a treaty of African governments. We have been established for more than 30 years, and throughout these 30 years, we have done over $100 billion of investments, of facilities, of assets and guarantees. And basically, our mandate is to finance and promote and facilitate intra and extra African trade using 4 broad instruments: credit, namely credit, payments and services, guarantees, insurance, as well as trade information and advisory services. We are also we have grown to be a group which has a number of subsidiaries, including FEDA, which is the Fund for Export Development of Africa. This is our investment bank arm, or our equity investment arm. We have also another subsidiary, which is Afrexinsure. This is our insurance partner, or our insurance subsidiary, which works in providing specialized insurance to clients in trade and trade-enabling investments. So what is our presence? So we are located, the headquarters is located in Cairo, Egypt, and we have 6 other regional offices. Where I'm sitting in Kampala in the East Africa Regional Office, and we're covering 11 countries, of course, including Burundi. We have 5 other ones, 2 in West Africa, in Nigeria and Cote d'Ivoire, 1 in Southern Africa, in Zimbabwe, Central Africa branch in Yaoundé and Cameroon, and finally a branch in Barbados in Bridgetown. This is aligning with the bank's strategy to be in global Africa, and since 2022 we have signed about 11 CARICOM member countries who has joined the bank. Our shareholders, as I said, are 52 African countries, including African governments, central banks, ministries of finance, and we have also private sector in Class B. These are private financial institutions within Africa, and also we have international financial institution in Class C, and finally Class D is open for any investors. The bank is majority owned by Africans, so the majority is African governments and African financial institutions or entities. What is our strategy? We have developed a 4-pillar strategy, basically focusing on, the first strategy focusing on intra-African trade and AFCFTA implementation. And my colleague Matimba has been describing some of our initiatives under the intra-African trade, including the regional integration as well as the SME development. The other pillar is regarding the industrialization and export development, and this focuses mostly on project finance, project preparation facilities, developing industrial parks and export processing zones, as well as other initiatives. The third one includes being a leader in global trade banking in Africa, which means that we support the growth of banks and financial institutions in Africa through providing lines of credit, through providing confirmation guarantees, as well as other services. I'll take you very quickly through these 4 pillars. In the intra-African trade, apart from the usual financing, intra-African financing for large corporates who wants to invest in Africa, who wants to be financed in Africa, we have taken a number of large-sized corporates like Dangote, financed them across Africa, like Arab contractors like El Siwidi. We have financed a number of East Africa large projects such as the Julius Nyerere Dam in Tanzania, as well as other projects. We also provide a number of other interventions like the Intra-African Trade Fair, or the IATF, which we have held about 3 times now, the first time being in Cairo in 2018, then in Durban, in South Africa in 2021, and last year also it returned to Cairo. In fact, in 2023, we had a good representation from Burundi, and we thank you, Madam Minister, for the representation. We had the likes of Odeka, OTB, they had a very nice booth. And this fairs actually helps promoting the different businesses and the different companies and all sectors from each of the regions. We had about 33,000 participants over 7 days of these fairs. So we invite you all also to attend the next one in Algeria next year, and we can provide you more details on this. Some of the other initiatives are the Creative Africa Nexus, or the CANEX, which is our flagship program that helps African creative culture industries through financing, through capacity building of some of these creative industries within the continent.
Merci, Monsieur Omar Badr Eldin.
Okay, can we say what we can do for Burundi at least, or what we have been doing for Burundi?
Vous avez dépassé vos 5 minutes.
Okay.
Bon, je crois que l'objectif là est de comprendre.
Mais on est là pour le Burundi, non?
Tous les projets intéressants que vous faites, je crois que nous avons très bien compris. Okay. Et donc nous allons demander à Monsieur Emmanuel Boutera Mouessigue de pouvoir prendre 5 minutes et nous dire ce qu'ils font.
Can I say one last word? Urakoze.
Ok, merci beaucoup. Monsieur Emmanuel Boutera Mouessigue.
Thank you.
Vous avez 5 minutes.
Thank you, moderator. Good evening, honorable ministers, distinguished delegates. My name is Emmanuel Boutera. I come from the Aviation Commission. That is a specialized agency of the AU in charge of aviation. I'm here to represent the Secretary General of AFCAC, Madame Adeyemi Adefunke, and we really appreciate the invitation of. Thank you for inviting us for the second time. Last year in Lusaka, we discussed about intra-Africa connectivity. As you can see, the theme of today's meeting, regional integration. There cannot be integration without connectivity. First of all, you have to connect and then integrate. Thank you. Allow me first of all to briefly run you through what does AFCAC do. AFCAC does a great job of coordinating all aviation matters on the continent. We are specifically tasked to implement the single African air transport market, SATAM. I appreciate the minister from Malawi this morning who really asked about what is SATAM and where is it. So at AFCAC, we have done a lot with our sister agencies. Remember, SATAM is one of the flagship projects of the Agenda 2063. We partnered with our sister programs, SEFTA and the Free Protocol Movement. So when you put the three flagship projects, SATAM, SEFTA, and the Free Protocol Movement, you really integrate and connect. So we have prioritized 3 T's: trade, tourism, and transport. Thanks to the Minister of Burundi, you have all the T's under your docket. So we really want to appreciate to work with you. What we do, we bring all these stakeholders together and tell them, we have everything given to us by our heads of state, heads of countries, heads of state. They approved this agenda in 2018. SATAM was signed on, same as SEFTA. Apparently, SATAM has only 37 countries that has signed to it, to implement it. Out of COMESA's 21 states, we have only 8 states that have signed. So our first request to to this CBC forum. The business sector, please ask your states, why haven't you signed on SATAM? What is lacking? We want to move from policies into implementation. So this is why we are here, to urge you to ask your governments to implement SATAM, and thus we connect. The Secretary General is not here, Madam Kapupe. I would request her intelligence to use her experience yesterday. Imagine someone flying from Lusaka to Bujumbura, a distance of 1,300 kilometers. You fly the Horn of Africa, Addis Ababa, then you come back to Bujumbura, a distance of more than 5,000 kilometers. She used 2 days. Because she has to spend a night in Addis Ababa. Why can't we have connectivity within our regions? Madam Secretary General, Deputy Secretary General who are here, please ask the governments in the EAC, I mean in the COMESA region, why are you not connecting? Mr. Teddy, thank you very much for inviting us. You remember last year what the Secretary General of Africa told you? From 1 kilometer of a runway, you can connect all the member states of the COMESA states. Vis-a-vis using roads and railways. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to address this issue. And thank you, moderator, for putting me together with the partners. The partners are here. They have given us everything. Our heads of state have given us everything. Why are we not moving into implementation? Madam Minister of Burundi, now that you are hosting us, I would request that it is taken as a recommendation for tomorrow's Council of Ministers and the subsequent summit on Thursday, that it should be prioritized to have member states of COMESA sign to SATAM, the Single African Air Transport Market. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much. So I would like just to tell our partners here, Afrexim Bank and European Union, that we know you. You have been sure that I think most of the people who are around know exactly what you do in the region, and we appreciate that. And we know that if we actually decide to talk about all that you do in the region, we need more than 1 or 2 or 3, 4 hours. So I would beg for your understanding if we are limiting this session to 5 minutes each, but I'm sure that the members of the COMESA Business Forum will draw a few lessons out of this one day. That means that we have some partners who would like to really discuss in length of what they do, and who knows, maybe make some new proposals. So, well, I guess you will excuse us. That will be for next time, but we really appreciate very much what you do. We are going to ask the panelists to join your seats. So we are going for the closing session. I will ask the Honorable Olivier Suguru, Chairman of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Burundi, to join the high table. Let me ask Mr. James Shimwaza, President of COMESA Business Council, to also join the high table. And I will ask Dr. Dev Haman, Assistant Secretary General of Administration Finance of COMESA, to also join the high table. We will start with Honorable Olivier Souguru, who will say a few words of recognition to the stakeholders who showed up here today. Mr. Souguru Olivier, you have the floor. Honorable Olivier Souguru.
Thank you very much, the moderator. First of all, I would like to thank the moderator for introducing me. My name is Olivier Souguru. I'm the chairman of the Burundi Chamber of Commerce and Industry Federation. I would like to address my expressing of what you have done by the ministers, honorable ministers, the different ministers, honorable minister of Burundi, the different ministers from COMESA region, the chairperson of COMESA Business Council, the CEO of Business Association, Captain Industries, members of the press, distinguished delegates, protocol observed. First of all, I want to delighted to express my sincere gratitude to Her Excellency Madame the Secretary General of COMESA and his deputy. I also extend my thanks to COMESA Business Council, to the chair, for the successful organization of the business forum that took place in Bujumbura for the first time. To express also my gratitude to the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Burundi, to CBC, to all stakeholders, to the participants which are here from this morning up to now. The Burundi Federal Chamber of Commerce and Industry is proud to be part of this very dynamic and development business organization, CBC. And I recognize and appreciate the huge effort made by the COMESA Secretariat and the CBC by organizing such an event, which is unique for our country. I'm pleased to recognize the presence of many delegates from across the region. This demonstrates the commitment of COMESA, partner states, to make Africa great and great again. Our government now convinced that the private sector is the engine of our economies. The success of COMESA, the rest of the private sector, and our governments as policymakers and the business environment, which have to be improved to boost and attract domestic and foreign investment in the COMESA region, but also to increase the trade within the COMESA region. The discussion which goes through our different panel sessions have been rich and constructive, and I take this opportunity to thank for both who from this morning you were participating in these sessions, the different panels and the quality, for high quality of the discussion.